united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its peoples. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Please join us in the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will go ahead, yeah.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add item 3A to update from the 6th Street Park from Dio to Main and Main Street representatives, as well as agenda item number 22, consider the sale of 3704 kW of reserve capacity to the city of Artsville.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will recognize Tony Cobb of the Electric Department as October 2011 Strongest Link Award recipient. Director of Electric, Bill Bosch will address. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I am absolutely thrilled to be here. This is actually 2 out of the last 3 months, so I'm just tickled pink. Tony, could you please come up here, please? The October Strongest Link in the Chain is going to be awarded to Tony Cobb. Tony Cobb has only been with us for, less than a year? About 6 months. And I have a sign in my office that says, I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. And that passion cannot, I mean, if you look up passion in the dictionary, it says see Tony. And she's come in, I don't know quite how to say it, quite like a bulldog, and taken this AMI project and, you know, has made it her own. And so it takes a special person to come in and take a project like this. I would say this project is similar to a building conversion. This is how big and important it is to the city. And I just want to thank you, Tony, and award you with the October Strongest Link in the Chain Award. Can we have your very lovely family come up and take a picture with you? Yes, please.
Well, and introduce us to your family. Yes.
Very nice.
You got to start this early because I'm going to need some new employees in about 15 years.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bill. All right. At this time, we will recognize Tommy Jones and Human Resources Director Miles Neville, who will recognize Leadership Development Institute graduates of 2011.
Good evening, Commissioners. It is my pleasure to come before you for the 3rd year in a row to bring you Class 3 of the City of Griffin Leadership Development Institute. If you recall, this was one of the city manager's goals several years ago, that we develop an internal leadership program to try to foster that spirit of promotion from within our ranks. And I'm happy to report to you once again, you should be very proud and very optimistic about the future of your leadership among our city employees. We had an outstanding 12 weeks. We were able to utilize some different instructors to kind of add a little variety to it. Some of the topics we covered were basic leadership skills and so forth, team building projects, human resources issues taught by our own Mr. Neville and Mr. Smith taught too, managing marginal employees. We learned about public speaking. We learned about finances and personal financial goals and so forth, how to set life goals and work goals, and how to develop a good network, and also the subject of personal branding, which is a hot topic these days. And they were an outstanding group. We met mostly at the UGA Research Garden and at the Welcome Center. And we're going to recognize this outstanding group today, and I'm going to ask Mr. Neville if he would come and read their names off while I present their diplomas.
Hey there.
Hey. You know, I think this is one reason why Griffin Fire Rescue received such an outstanding award by Georgia Trend magazine. It's because you do promote and you do work and you care about your employees, and I think that's so important. I think this is evidence of the city caring it.
Thank you. I'm sure he thanks you as well. Okay, well, let's get started. Without further ado, our first graduate is Chris Allen. Chris Allen's a supervisor in the street department. Next, we have Dexter Allen, equipment operator 3 in the solid waste department. Jeff Baker, firefighter in the fire department. We've got a face y'all are very familiar with, Tony Cobb, AMI System Analyst in the Technical Services Department. Next, we have Jeff Cochran, Equipment Operator 3 in the landfill. Next, we have the always quiet, nothing ever to say, Sheila Daniel, Environmental Tech in the Stormwater Department. Next, we have the opposite, but very professional, Daryl Dix, Lieutenant, Police Department. John Hamilton, Training and Operations Officer, Fire Department. Demetria Jackson, Accountant in the Accounting Department. Chris Johnson, Superintendent, Solid Waste. Next, we have Michelle Johnson, Tax and License Administrator, Planning and Development. Next, Wayne Jones, Superintendent, Technical Services. Then we have Toussaint Kirk, Associate Planner, Planning and Development. Last, we have Chuck Smoke. Oh, but he's not here. I already knew that. He decided that vacation was more important than this, I guess, or I don't know. But he's still going to graduate and get his certificate.
Very good, very good.
And if I might add, we had a blast this year. At least I had a blast. I hope they did. But and every year it gets better and better. And next year we're going to strive for even better. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Miles. Thank you, Tommy. Okay, at this time we'll have our annual stormwater utility review. Director of Public Works and Utilities, Dr. Brent Keller, will address.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'll make this short and brief. As a condition of our permit, every year we bring you the update of what we've accomplished in the stormwater department as a condition of our MS4 permit. The first thing, I'm happy to say that we're in full compliance again. Obviously, that's what we're supposed to be doing, but we are in full compliance with CPD and will be up for renewal in 2013 in the new permit cycle. This year, we completed our watershed monitoring plans, our watershed assessment, our protection plans. These plans will be guiding us into the future. You'll be seeing a lot about these plans in the upcoming budget, the different construction projects that we'll have to do in the different basins in order to achieve water quality. We are in the process of looking at the construction of the Phase 1 of the 319 Stormwater Grant for Potato Creek TMDL at the golf course. That we'll start construction in the spring on that. This year we completed the sub-basin delineation, and we'll be marketing those detention ponds and proprietary BMPs in the future for commercial and industrial businesses. As y'all are aware, we're the first only CRS-5 under the National Flood Insurance Program in the state of Georgia. We received that in May of this year. Our public education and public information program went well this year. We had numerous, over 1,000 DVDs produced, movies, and disseminated in the school. We taught over 1,000 kids in the school system with our assistant parapro. Our E&S day has now been expanded to 2 full days, and we had sponsorships of $3,500 to feed over 200 people from across the state for training purposes. Stream cleanup was bigger than it ever has been. We had close to 200 folks. And then the last thing is we still are in compliance with our watershed monitoring and sampling. And you saw your brochure in front of you, and if there's any further questions, just give me a call. We'll be glad to help you out. But as a condition of our permit, we've met it for this year, and thank you.
I thought it was a great article, and it answered some questions that I've been bombarded with about the dog waste station, so I really appreciate the timeliness of it.
Thank you.
I think this brochure is great, too. I read it when it came to paper, and I was impressed. So if anybody read this, they have to have a much better understanding.
And we do that annually, and I give that all to Chris Edelstein, who, as you all are quite aware, will be leaving us on the 30th of November. And we are in the final episode of looking at 2 final candidates for his position. Thank you.
All right, at this time, we will recognize Daoud Amin and Jean Bomagan, or whatever, I can have a hard time with your name, Jean. They will make a presentation on the progress of the pavilion at the park at 6. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor Todd, Board of Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney, and also Mr. Frederick Gardner, who's our particular operates from under members of his staff. Once again, I'd like to thank you for allowing us to come tonight. I take and accept full responsibility for the information not being given to you in a timely manner in ways it would have been on the agenda. So charge that error to me. At this particular time, once again, thank you. We'd like to get through a little quick, brief update on the park at 6, along with some information that we want to pass on to you all pertaining to our possible funding for our audio-video sound system. So at this particular time, me, Daoud Amin, I chair the Main Street Advisory Board. Ms. Jean Birmingham also is our vice chair, and she's our Sun City representative. So at this time, I'm going to let Jean begin and do her job tonight.
Okay. I'd like to run down just some highlights of the park at 6. The estimated Phase 1 and 2 project completion cost was $75,247.
Excuse me just a minute, Jean. Would you move the mic a little more in line there?
Okay.
Because old folks have problems.
Okay. The actual cost for the Phase 1 and 2 was $58,766.62. So we were way under for the estimated cost there. The estimated project completion time was 3 years, and we actually finished Phase 1 and 2 in 3 months. And we used hotel motel funding of $52,500 for this project. And in-kind community support, Paragon Counseling was $195 for the project management services, and Manley Spangler Smith Architects, their fee was $5,320 for the architectural design to date. And I'm very proud to say this park is not even done, and we have already received 2 awards. In September, we received the Keep Georgia Beautiful Community 2011 Community Improvement Award, and then just in November, we got the Downtown Association 2011 Best Infill New Construction Project Award. So we're very proud of this park, and there's been a lot of hard work towards it. The total cost of the pavilion was estimated for the 3rd phase to be $37,800. County labor was $9,800. Materials was $28,000. And the Edwards Family and United Bank Pavilion contribution was $38,000. So it's looking up very close to being done. We're hoping to get it done by the end of the year and have dedication as soon as it's completed.
And one other thing I like to say is, at this particular time, too, things are moving fairly rapidly. I spoke to many of the board members here tonight, and I would like to let you know that what we're looking at as early as probably mid-January, we're looking to possibly have a ribbon cutting dedication there for the pavilion and to officially dedicate the park, even though we've been doing activities out there for the last several months. We have a budget of right at $14,000 we're looking at in order to give us the audio video component for the park itself. We've received 3 bids, and the best bid is right about $13,000, and for some contingencies and maybe some additional wiring, we're looking at about $14,000. And we are going to be asking this board for some help, support. At this particular time, as stated, all of those dollars that Gene mentioned earlier, they were contributed by way of the county commission through their hotel motel dollars or from private sources, whether it was the United Bank or the Edwards family, or for in-kind contributions or pro bono from Paragon Consulting Group and Manley Spangler and Smith. So that's one item that we're really going to be looking for some support on. So that pretty much wraps up what we're here tonight for, and to let you know that, and that will be something that will be forthcoming, and we would like for this board to look at honoring us on that request.
All right. Are there any questions by any members of the commissioners?
No, I think I probably have the same opinion everybody else. I think it's a wonderful project.
Thank you, Ms. Moore.
And with the Edwards donation and hotel motel tax, which can only be used for tourism and economic development, it worked out great. You folks did a super job, I think.
I have a question. I know you said that you had anticipated this being on the agenda tonight, and by not being on the agenda, is that a problem? What is the time frame that you need to have the money?
Because I went out and looked at the project today, talked to the contractor who is the Spalding County Construction Management Department, Mr. Terry Tardy. He was telling me that everything was on target to definitely be finished before this calendar year is complete. And from talking to the donors and to Ms. Kira Harris-Braggs, who is the program manager for the city, and talking with her, we were looking at possibly as early as mid-January, possibly doing the ribbon cutting. It would be I'm not saying it's an absolute necessity and a must, but it would have been nice if we had our own equipment at that time to utilize it for that particular function. And, but that would be something that, of course, this board would have to be the one to make that call. But me being a volunteer, not looking at the big picture like you have to, I can look at the little small section. I would definitely love for you all to be able to honor that request for the $14,000.
Are you asking for the,
I'm asking for $14,000 for that. And just keep in mind, I think I mentioned it to several of the board members, that even though the equipment and all is for the pavilion and for the park at 6, keep in mind, you're not actually giving city funds to the county, meaning that all of this equipment that we're talking about is portable, it's movable. We are looking at this equipment to be stored over at the Welcome Center, and you all would have access to this equipment, the microphones, the sound system, the portable stage, it's not stage, but the video screen, the rear projection cameras, everything. So it's not nothing that's going to be permanently fixed on that structure. And it's from talking to the vendor, who is a local vendor, all of this is portable, it looks great, it sounds great, it stands behind it, and they've also done work with the city of Griffin on other projects when it came down to video and audio equipment. So it's not anything that we're going to be taking and giving it to another governing body. It would be under the direction of a city employee.
If I'm trying to interpret Commissioner Ward's comments, you're thinking about bringing it up as soon as possible to consider, is that what you're?
Yeah, but see, from here, I'm saying that he thought it was gonna be on the agenda tonight.
Yeah, and like I said, and it wasn't, and that I'm to blame.
Can we consider it the first meeting in December, talk about it, put it on the agenda?
I mean,
I don't have a problem with bringing it. I think that we need to have input from management and let them, give us some guidance. But no, I think that, as soon as it can be completed, I think that it needs to be done. Has the city contributed any money to this project at all?
Yes, the city has, like the electrical power that was brought to the site. The city has paid the water bill that's out there. The city has paid the electrical bill that's out there. The city, every time we've asked for anything, Dr. Keller here, the benches that are over there, the Public Works Department brought that. The city has been the one to keep all the grass mowed. And the city has made tremendous contributions. Okay. I was only making reference to the actual physical dollars that came from the hotel, motel. And of course, we know the county got most of all the hotels and motels in the community anyway, so therefore, and then it is county property. So, we keep all that in mind when we're asking for things on this particular project. And hopefully, in the near future, we'll find a project that's actually owned by the city of Griffin and see if we can't get some reciprocity from the county coming back that way.
You really don't want to go there. But we appreciate you coming tonight and making this presentation. And right now, we will see if it can't be on our first item of agenda in December.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Okay, at this time, it is citizen comment time. I will open the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to our city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Having said that, is there anyone on my left that would like to come forward and make a comment? Is there anyone on my right who would like to come forward and make a comment? Okay, if not, we will go into our public hearings. Public hearings are conducted to allow public comment on specific advertised issues such as rezoning ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, and other legislative actions to be considered by the City Commission. At this time, we will receive comments regarding a resolution pursuant to the Code of Griffin, Georgia, Section 102-36, fees for licenses, amending the schedule of rates, fees, and charges for towing and storage firms, licensed under Article 2, Chapter 102, Vehicles for Hire. City Manager Kenny Smith will address.
Yes, ma'am, our ordinance allows any person who holds a license under our ordinance as a towing or storage firm to propose a schedule to revise the rates for towing and storage, as long as they do that on or before November the 1st. On November the 1st, Mr. David Smith of Curry's Collision Center gave us a proposal for revised rates. That proposal has been advertised in the Griffin Daily News in accordance with our ordinance, and we scheduled a public hearing for tonight for comments on the revised rate.
Okay, this is a public hearing, and the purpose of the public hearing is to receive comments. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to come forward and make any comments? Do the city commissioners have any? Oh, please come forward, sir. State your name and address for the record.
David Smith, Courage Collision Center.
Okay.
Just proposed for the last 10 years, the rates have been at $75 for towing. Now, I have proposed in the article for the rates to go up, and I do have where the fees that I got are come from the state of Georgia to be raised for the towing and for the storage purposes. I do only have one copy. I apologize I didn't get a chance to make them. If y'all like to look over, this is what the state of Georgia says, that for light duty tows we can charge, for medium duties, and so on and so on.
We have that here.
We have
Okay.
Yes.
All right, and also with the rise of diesel going up to $4 a gallon, it's costing more to operate. You're spending $1,500 a month easy on insurance just for the tow truck. That's not counting the insurance you gotta have to cover the vehicles that you are towing. And for maintenance of trucks, especially if you own more than one, like I do, and if you own big tractor trailer records, they're very expensive to maintain. Buy a change, they're not cheap. And I think, at $75, surrounding counties have went up, and I just propose, to try to go up, to try to help us out to cover our cost and our expense of what we have to pay out every single day of operation.
I have a question or comment.
Okay.
I don't see how you could possibly tow tractors and trailers and all that for $75. Your new list sounds much more reasonable to me.
Yes, sir, Mr. Moore, on the tractor trailer part, now, I don't do that, I don't get into that big of stuff, so, now, when I first done the city thing about the current charges, now, I might not have that down correctly. I think they do get, there's only one or two services in the city that does it, and I think they do get more than what is stated here. Now, that I did mess up and probably put the wrong rate on that, but.
Well, it shows $650.
Yeah, that's for tractor and trailer. Now, just if you haul just a tractor only, it's like hauling a pickup truck, that's the $350, but if you have to haul, impound, or work direct with a tractor and trailer, so that's 2 units, you go to $650.
Well, I don't have any problem with y'all raising your rates, and this sounds reasonable to me. I'm not an expert, but, are the other tow folks in town on board with this? They know about it, or where we stand?
Yes, sir, I do have a representative for Mike's Service Center here with me. The other ones couldn't make it, but they do know about it, and they're all on board. I guess they just let me to be the head person to come talk to y'all.
Okay, so if they all come raising the sand, they'll know that you did it, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, I don't have a problem with you increasing it, but I do have a problem with you increasing it $50 just for the 125, because just like you're feeling the pain of diesel fuel, and the citizens are also feeling the pain of this economy.
Right.
And I think that's a little steep.
Well, just on that remark on per the Georgia State Patrol, we just had a meeting with them about a month ago, and they actually raised us up to $125 on their rate on that, and that's why I provide for the state of Georgia. That's what they go with, and that's what GSP, Georgia State Patrol, is raised our rate.
Is it mandatory for you to go by that rate? Can you consider?
I don't understand the question. What do you mean mandatory?
You saying this Georgia State Patrol gave you that rate?
Right, we discussed, we had a meeting with the post commander, yes, sir, and we sat down and we come to the conclusion that the rate would be $125 for the regular tows like this, yes, sir.
But you don't have to, it don't have to be 125.
That's what we all agreed on. We don't have to sign anything with the state patrol, but we all in agreement with the post commander that it is $125, yes, sir.
Is this strictly these rates if the city of Griffin chief requests a tow for a situation? So
Yes,
in terms of the free market out there,
Free-
you can negotiate
That's, yes,
with whoever wants to based on insurance companies, or this
Yes,
is
sir.
strictly upon city
yes, sir,
request for something to be towed?
yes, sir.
How often do we tow folk items?
Well, right now, the way that the way the city is set up, there's at least 11 of us on call, so you get a week at a time. And actually, that's another agenda I was going to try to address, to change the policies of that, because the policies that are instated right now does not cover people that they're not having the adequate insurance that we all have to have. You know, you got some they're not insured properly. But yes, so right now we get a week at a time. Every 2 months, you get a week.
If someone has insurance, they pay for the towing part on their automobile insurance, do you file that insurance for them?
I'm not allowed, I'm not allowed to make a claim for you on, towards your insurance.
Right.
But for some insurance company that I work direct for on collision repair, they do allow me to do that. Local agents here in town,
Right.
they do. State Farm is the biggest one. They allow me to do that, yes, ma'am.
Chief, do you know how many tows that we do on normal, in terms of on a weekly basis or monthly basis? Is this like a daily incident, or is this?
I would say on average somewhere between 30 and 35 pulls a month.
A month?
A month, about one a day?
So this is mainly on
Some
wreck,
days-
this is mainly on wreck incidents?
Yeah,
that you
some
get the
days you
tows.
may have 4 or 5 pulls, depending on how many cars collide with each other. So one company may be getting more than the other.
Okay. Any other questions by the commissioners? No. We thank you for coming. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward and make a public comment? Okay, if not, then we're going to our consent agenda.
See, I think we have to take these separately, if I remember right, there's had some vacancies. So, Madam Chair, I'm going to start with, I move we approve the minutes of the regular scheduled meeting of November 8th.
All right, we have a motion to approve the minutes of November the 8th. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of our regular meeting on November the 8th. All those in favor, please raise your right hand.
And I think
Okay.
We probably have one abstention.
Right, Ryan was not here, so it's 6-0.
And Madam Chair, I move that we approve the minutes of the workshop on November 8th.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve the minutes of the workshop and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, that is 7-0. Thank you.
And finally, Madam Chair, I move we approve the minutes of the Hometown Connections legislation.
Right. All righty, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I need to make a correction.
Okay, what is that?
I was not here at that meeting, so I need to be left as
That's true, you
absent. I
weren't.
was out of town.
Right, okay. As corrected.
So we had two not here, right? Will and you?
Right.
Okay.
All right, so
My
do we have a
motion is as
motion now?
corrected.
Yeah, as corrected. We have a motion to approve the minutes of the Hometown Connections as corrected. Do I have a second? All right, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is 6-0. Thank you.
I'm abstaining.
Yeah, you weren't here. And we'll be,
Commissioner Ward gets the smile of the day of recognition for that.
yes,
On the front
So it
page
should
of
be
GMA.
5:02.
that's true.
Should
That
be
was a good
Should be
picture.
5:02.
Is that
5:02. Judy, that was 5:02. All right. Okay, now we're into our regular agenda. Consider a resolution pursuant to the Code of Griffin, Georgia, Section 102-36, Fees for licenses, amending the schedule of rates, fees, and charges for towing and storage firms. Licensed under Article 2, Chapter 102, Vehicles for Hire.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the schedule as presented and advertised.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 7, consider proposed changes to the personnel policy. Director Miles Neville will address.
These are the ones you explained to us previously, and I move that we approve the no
All right,
change.
if he's already explained them to us, we have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 8, consider approval of project framework agreement from the Georgia Department of Transportation for project PID 0010333. Adam Causey will address.
I have a question when you...
Good evening. This is the kickoff document from GDOT and ARC allowing us to hire a design consultant for the downtown LCI transportation improvements. And it is, I know it was a big document, but it's required for the federal funds to be brought down eventually. So this is a banner day that we finally get to this point.
Let me make sure I understand. This says one place downtown Griffin, one place it says North Hill Street improvements. So is it?
They're included together.
Specifically, they're together?
It's together. It's one. The improvements that were outlined in the concept plan for the downtown LCI, and they go from Tinsley down to Poplar, and then includes Solomon.
That is our share of the grant.
Yeah.
So Tinsley, the North Hill up as far as Tinsley?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to target new areas and not redo the existing areas at this point.
The enhancements to the core of downtown, but Fifth Street will get improvements that it doesn't have now. Solomon will get additional, and then working with Brant, we're actually going to get the design contract, one designer to do this project, and then the intersections up North Hill Street, McIntosh, 6th Street, Tuskegee, and some additional right-of-way work under one design contract, so that we only have to deal with one engineer.
But this isn't the part of the LCI project where we actually tear out the existing sidewalks and widen sidewalks on Hill Street and Solomon Street.
It will go through, a round of engineering, and GDOT will have to be happy with those, but yes, this is part of that. And we're not tearing out existing, we're adding to. This is the one we talked about this morning. If we want to go with the lane reduction and we want to go with the parking buffer, this is part of that. Now, it still has to go through an engineering review through GDOT, which they still have considerable input into this. It's still their road.
I would say.
We've already got a streetscape that's done right now, and with the
Correct.
economy downturn, would it be better to make sure if we target the money going to areas that haven't been improved already?
Well, part of the money will, for North Hill Street, will go to sections that don't have, north of the railroad tracks, that do not have any streetscape enhancements, that don't have proper crosswalks, don't have the things that we have in the core of downtown. That's true.
It says the project will utilize SPLOST money earmarked for North Hill Street improvement. Okay, we did the LCI study, and we looked at the improvements that were going out North Hill Street.
Correct.
What's going to happen with that?
They will be designed along with this, and then
how far out North Hill? We had talked about going out to the city limits.
this will go into the county as well. I'm waiting for an intergovernmental agreement to get changed, to get approved by the county, at least in form, that we will go together, and again, just try to get some efficiencies here. Instead of having the county do it with one group and us do it with another, and we're trying to get one designer in to get McIntosh, East McIntosh and North Hill Street, Tuskegee and Northside, the realignment of that offset intersection, and the 6th Street and Blanton, kind of knife edge intersection. So all those will be designed under this. Now, they won't all be constructed because we've got to go after more money for the intersections further up outside the LCI district. It will be confusing for us to manage this and to pull it's money coming from different pots, but we're serving 3 projects essentially that all relate to each other.
All right, very good.
Also got your T-Splost money earmarked for this all the way up through the McIntosh intersection.
Right.
So one
And
design
that's a-
for all of it.
No.
Yeah, and it is on the
All right,
project.
Madam
We
Chair,
want to
I
have this
move we
available
approve
so that when we have the money, it's there.
our project framework agreement.
Second motion.
All right, we have a motion to approve the project framework agreement and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 9, consider first reading of an amendment to the Code of the City of Griffin at Chapter 90, Traffic and Vehicles, to include a new Article 10, motorized carts, to provide for motorized cart use on certain designated public roads, rights-of-way, and other public property. Chief Strickland will address. Man, I really am not sure about this, Chief. It's a Pandora's box that we're about to open.
Yes, ma'am, but we really don't have a choice. The state of Georgia has passed a state law that pretty much mandates us to, if we want any local control, to pass an ordinance as to where we will allow the carts to be and where they can be driven other than state and federal highways. And if we don't do something, then we're not gonna have control over where they're operating or how they're operating.
This particular law that was passed is very confusing.
It is.
And if you look at the current Title 40, where motor vehicles are regulated under state law, I've given you a chart. The first page of that chart basically categorizes the fact that motor vehicles such as cars, trucks, tractor trailers, type vehicles that you commonly see on your streets and highways are all regulated by the state. There is no local regulation over those. And when I say regulation, I'm talking about not just operation, but also the registration or buying the tags for those vehicles, and also the issuance of driver's license and driver's licensing requirements. The second category has been in the law for a number of years, although we haven't seen many of them here in Griffin, but they're called low-speed vehicles. The original definition of a low-speed vehicle was an electric vehicle that could not exceed 25 miles an hour. And as I've set out in here, they basically can only operate on public roads having a posted speed limit of 35 miles per hour or less, although there's no local regulation over the streets that you can operate these on. It's all governed by the state law. So any city street within the city of Griffin with a speed limit of 35 miles an hour, a low-speed vehicle can operate on. Now, you go down just like you buy a tag on your car. You go down to the courthouse, you buy a tag for your low-speed vehicle. You have to have a state driver's license. You have to be at least age 16 with a regular license to operate that vehicle, and you're subject to the same uniform rules of the road as far as operations. The low-speed vehicles can actually cross over roads with higher posted speed limits, as long as they're crossing them vertically instead of linearly on that, so there's no prohibition there. All-terrain vehicles are also regulated solely under state law, and they cannot be operated at all on a public street or road. That's prohibited by the state law. However, we see a lot of ATVs, not here in Griffin, but I know in Peachtree City. I've talked to the city attorney at length about this particular ordinance over there because of their experience with it, and they have a lot of people who will go out and buy something like a Polaris, which is an ATV like, Brant uses in public works, or I think Tommy Jones recently got one for the fire department. They are not street equipped, nor are they legally permitted to operate on the street. Then you've got motorized carts. This was added to the law several years ago, and it allows, or actually requires, a local ordinance. This is commonly the golf cart type of vehicle.
Yeah.
And they have been limited. As you see, you've got a great deal of control over what you can do. You can set the registration requirements in most cities, such as Peachtree City, where you've had these motorized cart ordinances require them to come in and register and get a sticker or a decal that goes on the vehicle. You can set the operational requirements such that a person under the age of 16 who does not have a regular state driver's license can operate them. They're limited to only streets of 35 miles an hour or less, and they're prohibited from operating on the state highway system in its entirety. So you can't put one, for example, downtown. You couldn't drive it from your house on say, Maple Drive into downtown Griffin, and actually operated on Taylor Street or Hill Street or a street that's part of the state highway system. There's also a limitation, which I think is really going to be a serious limitation, and the chief's going to probably talk about this some, but you can only cross the state route at a designated crossing, which has been approved by GDOT. And as I found talking to Peachtree City, GDOT likes overpasses and underpasses. They don't like to give you surface crossings. So that could be a major problem for those. So what changed this year? The state enacted a law that now defines another category of vehicle, which they call a personal transportation vehicle. It's a new definition, but in reality, it's the same thing as a motorized cart, which is equipped in the same manner as a low-speed vehicle. So it can be either gas or electric. It can go up to have a design speed not to exceed 20 miles an hour. And it operates under the same rules as low-speed vehicles. So they've taken a subset of motorized carts and brought them up to state regulation. That's what it amounts to.
What about a motorized bicycle?
Well, we dealt with bicycles earlier. Mopeds, which are motorized bicycles,
Well,
and
yeah,
bicycles.
Got a minimum for, this has to have
Yeah.
a minimum wheel. What doesn't
Three or more.
include two wheels?
Yeah, 3 or more
Okay.
wheels for these. And on the second page, I did make some notes. The state law does address two other areas. Bicycles and mopeds is one. The other is electric personal assistive mobility devices. That's a fancy name for what we commonly call Segway scooters, which are the two-wheel devices for
Yeah.
a single rider with a gyroscope built into it. You cannot run those on a public street. You run them on a sidewalk. You can cross the street at a designated crosswalk, but you can't run those actually on the streets themselves under any circumstances. But basically, all this ordinance will regulate are the motorized carts, which don't also qualify as personal transportation vehicles or low-speed vehicles. If you have a golf cart that you equip as a low-speed vehicle, you then go down, instead of registering it with the city, you go down to see Sylvia and buy your tag for it, and you're subject to the state regulations. That's what it amounts to.
I'm going to move we approve.
Yes.
I need to question some of these streets you have on page 6.
Go ahead, a second first.
Second for discussion. On page 6, you've got West Ellis Street. They should be West Ellis Road and Ellis Road, shouldn't it? Yes. And then some other streets for consideration.
Well, but West Ellis Road now is not in city limits, where, is it, or, yeah, I guess it is, yeah, out with Wedgewood,
Right,
yeah.
but Ellis Road over there off Experiment,
Yeah.
they should be included there.
You don't have Taylor on here.
So I stay that way.
Taylor's a state highway.
And then some other roads I think that might need to be considered on this list. Searcy Avenue,
You talking about the prohibited streets?
Prohibited
Yeah.
Street on section 90-215, section A.
These are prohibited
These
streets.
are prohibited. Well, you've got West Ellis Street, and there's not a West Ellis Street. It's West
West Ellis Road.
Road. But it should also be Ellis Road besides West Ellis Road, correct?
Yeah.
All right,
And
on
then-
Middlebrooks is 35 and under. Why isn't it on here?
I think it'd be very dangerous with the curves on that road for folks to be on a golf cart with the vehicular traffic that travels that road. So I'm trying to keep somebody from getting killed by.
Middlebrooks is not, Middlebrooks is not.
It's not on the
It's
list.
not on
Maddox
the
Road.
list. It
See,
should be on the
Maddox is,
list.
but
It should be
Middlebrook-
on the list.
Middlebrook?
Yes. It's a thoroughfare, well, you crisscross county, but it's a highway, yes it is. I mean, people just zoom up and down there all
But
the
it's
time.
but it is a straightaway
Keep
that
in
you can
mind,
get off
that
to the
a
right.
low-speed vehicle or a personal transportation vehicle under state law can operate on Middlebrooks. We can't regulate that. On Middlebrooks, since part of it's in the county and part's in the city,
Yeah.
our ordinance would only authorize the operation on that portion that's in the city. When they come to the city limit line, they have to technically stop unless the county has an equivalent ordinance.
Well, across the street from me is the county. Can the city policeman stop somebody on that?
I think the city limits of Middlebrooks, though, by agreement with the county, was actually annexed into the city.
The road?
You recall if you...
I think there's only certain parts of Honeybee Creek that we don't have jurisdiction over in that particular
Right, I
subdivision.
think that's right.
Yes.
So you, both sides of our street?
Yes, ma'am.
Middlebrooks.
I have the thoroughfare through Middlebrook. I misunderstood your question. I thought you were asking me about Maddox.
Searcy Avenue,
Yep.
you've got Hamilton Boulevard, which ties into East Solomon Street, which is listed, so Searcy Avenue doesn't need to be on the,
No.
as a street. Everett Road does not need to be a
No.
golf cart road. Zebulon Road's covered by the highway. Wesley Drive is a blind hill there, probably would not be a very good road to.
Well, you have connecting streets, and I have to have
Connecting streets.
connectivity with Wesley Drive. If I take Wesley Drive out, I don't have connectivity to the other neighborhoods.
South Sixth and North Sixth Streets.
Yes, sir.
Those don't necessarily, if Maple Drive isn't included, should South Sixth Street be included? Old Atlanta Highway, probably
I
doesn't.
wouldn't, I'm trying to give folks a way to go with Sixth Street versus Maple.
Okay, any Carver Road, probably.
We have had, and since I first sent you this information, we've had a map and that shows the neighborhoods where these would pretty much be confined to, and I was hoping we'd have a chance to look at that map
And
and
I
kind
have
of
to
see.
apologize, I've dropped the ball on not having a map on the screen tonight. I didn't.
Well, but with.
I've been down and looked at the
with-
map and spent some time with it, and I thought it made sense personally. Because you have to have some connectivity in these subdivisions and areas.
If we're gonna allow them, it doesn't make any sense for people not to be able to get to one place to another. And we're gonna request from DOT 3 crossings across Taylor Street.
But, you know, you don't have intersections on Wesley Drive at Maddox Road. You got a dead end. You got a dead end from Wesley Drive onto Maple Drive. So the only thing they can do is have fun riding, on Rainbow Circle, Dawson and Wesley.
Yeah, there are several neighborhoods that are confined. My neighborhood, for instance, I can go nowhere. I dead end on the Maddox Road, so other than just being in my neighborhood, unfortunately, I can't go anywhere.
Right, and
But we look.
Wesley Hills there, they can't either.
Yeah, and there are several of those neighborhoods, but on the
Yeah.
other hand, there are several neighborhoods where you can go all the way to City Park, you can go all the way to Third Ward Park.
Yeah.
On the north side of town, there are a lot of connectivity to neighborhoods, so, you know, we're not gonna get where you can just go all over town with them, but there are some neighborhoods that will have the availability to be
Right,
able to.
well, then I can see right now, we'll
As
have
an
to keep them off
example-
the golf course.
As an example, there's a gentleman that lives in Kenny's neighborhood that I see on a pretty regular basis riding his golf cart in
Oh,
South Warwick.
there's several
yeah.
in my neighborhood, and
Yeah,
but
I've
they
seen
just
them,
stay
they
in
do
my
it on Middlebrooks too.
Yes, ma'am.
They do it around my neighborhood.
I mean, I've often wanted a golf cart to ride down and get the mail.
And maybe looking toward the
Harry says
future,
no.
we've also looked at maybe the possibility of connectivity somewhere in the future where we could connect some of these neighborhoods through some back alleys or
Yeah.
something that we don't have now.
See, I think that's what's exciting about this, maybe down some sewer easements or other places, we could connect neighborhoods, basically like they do in Peachtree City, so you can go from neighborhood to neighborhood through the back road. I
Well,
think this has
in your
great
neighborhood, you've
possibility.
got cart paths already that connect one side to the other.
Right.
Yeah.
Most of the others you don't.
We can always amend it later.
I have a
Yes,
motion
as
and a
we go.
second to approve.
Yeah, a second, with
All
that
right, any
correction
other
on Ellis.
discussion? All righty, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous, so we all on the line.
Vroom, vroom.
Okay, item number 10, consider purchase of 3 additional new digital alley camera systems for police vehicles from Transcom Services, complete with installation in the amount of $16,200.
Madam
And
Chair.
amend the budget accordingly.
I move that we approve the purchase and the budget amendment.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous, thank you. Item number 11, consider a task order form from Tetra Tech for best management practice design service for Oak Hill Cemetery BMP in accordance with the Potato Creek Watershed Implementation Plan in the amount of $18,000.
Madam Chair, I move we approve, and I do have a question here.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. What is your question?
100 words or 50 words or less, what are we doing over here? I couldn't tell from reading all
We're
this.
gonna clean up, if you've seen those streams in the cemetery where they've eroded away, we're gonna go in
Yeah.
and restore the bank.
Okay, I figured that's it. That's that stream bed restoration
Yes,
stuff.
Yeah,
Good
okay.
enough.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous, thank you. Item number 12, consider agreement with Davidson Hydrant and Utility Services LLC for 2010 CDBG Phase 3 of North Griffin Infrastructure Improvement in an amount of $568,409.
Chairman, I need to abstain due to conflict of owning properties in this area.
All right, do we have any other conflicts with Davidson? Are you still on that board, Dick?
No, I haven't been for I've never been on that board, actually.
Oh, okay, all righty.
I move we approve the,
Okay, we have a motion to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve, are there questions? Or if not, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay,
We'd like to say
six.
thanks on that because there's several houses that need fire hydrants in that neighborhood and the water pressure needs to be raised. and we
Okay,
appreciate that.
very good, all righty, so that's 601. Thank you. All right, item number 12, consider agreement with, nope, we just did that one. Not 13, that's unlucky. Reconsider purchase of an F-150 4x4 pickup truck for the Cabin Creek wastewater treatment plant in the amount of $20,175 from Mall of Georgia Ford.
I move we approve the new lower price, and I also have a question.
All righty, we have a motion to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, and
I don't remember any time anybody ever came back like this and gave us a price cheaper than the state contract. Is this the first time? This surprised me.
Aren't you glad you got to stay for this?
Yes. What we're doing is looking for the statewide contract price, which we have with the other vendor, and then we're also allowed to solicit additional quotes, blind quotes, where we have a sheet, these are the specs that we're looking for, give us your prices, and we throw them out there to all the vendors that we have on our list, and
I'm amazed that they come in less than the state contract. I didn't know this, I've never seen this before that I know of. Good job.
we're doing our part, we're doing our job to try and bring in. I mean, every time you save $1,800, $2,000, $5,000 here, after a while, it all adds up.
You're a good fella.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous, Judy. Thank you. Item number 14, consider approval to purchase from Mall of Georgia Ford. No.
Yes.
It is a different one? Okay.
Yep.
All righty, consider approval to purchase from Mall of Georgia Ford a 2012 Ford Expedition. Ooh, yeah, it is different. For the electric department in the amount of $25,935 and by resolution amend the budget accordingly. Bill Bosch will address.
Madam Chair, I move we approve and amend the budget.
All right, we have a motion to approve and amend the budget. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise.
Whoa, you I want you to hear the story on this one. Before you
very
vote on
good. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is. How
Okay.
do you make us money? You made money for us.
Oh, wow.
I was trained by Marcus, I'm making money. I was at a function, a number of functions that we go to, and the truck was valeted, and while the valet was parking it, he had a seizure, passed out, and ran it into the wall, a concrete wall, and totaled it. And when they called me, they said there was a small mishap with the vehicle. That was the short
How much did you
version.
pay for this vehicle originally?
It was about that same price.
About the same price, but the
So,
insurance
we
gave
made some money.
$33,000.
Yeah, they paid us basically replacement and then new.
Right.
and
You probably
due to
paid for
state-
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Marcus did a good job of getting another price.
Okay, well, we're not gonna call him back up so his chest is,
But
might pop.
I will try to warn the valets from now on.
and it's the truth. All right, we have a motion and a second. We've heard the story. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 15, consider requesting... 15, consider requesting MEAG Power to increase the monthly MEAG statement in the amount of $128,808 and deposit of $45,083 per month to the flexible operating account short-term portfolio and $83,725 to the new generation and capacity funding account intermediate term portfolio beginning in January 2012. Shoo.
And
Bill will address.
very shortly, this is just our yearly allotment from our trust that we deposit. We usually do a 50-50 and we are starting to ramp up our deposits into the generation trust to get ready for our debt service on Vogel 3 and 4.
Okay,
Madam Chair, I move we approve.
all right, and we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous, Judy, thank you. All right, item number 16, consider depositing the city's off-system energy sales margins for calendar year 2012 in the flexible operating account short-term portfolio of the MEAG Municipal Trust.
I move we approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 17, consider the sale of 1,826 kilowatts of reserve capacity to the city of Jackson.
I move we approve with a question.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve.
If I read this correctly, make sure I understand that, this is only an annual sale, all of these we're talking about.
Right, this is just basically.
And they are basically paying for the power instead of us being obligated to pay for it. That's
For reserve capacity, they are paying for the right to
the
have
right
it,
to take it.
if they need it. So basically, they're just reserving it.
So if they don't use it, they've just spent $7,000. If they use it, they got the power.
And we make these small deals just to make sure, because we have the capacity and we're able to support their needs.
Well, it's a good deal.
Right, and it saves us money in the long run.
Yes.
All right, item number 18.
We didn't vote, did we?
That's true. We have a second and a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 18, consider the sale of 2,297 kilowatts of reserve capacity to the city of Beaufort.
Move we approve.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. Item number 19, consider for approval the transfer of $1,515,754 from general fund to water wastewater utility fund as fiscal year 2011 true-up. The city chooses to compare the adopted budget to actual results in the comprehensive annual financial report for normalizing transfers from water and wastewater utility fund. Marcos will address if necessary.
Madam Chair, I move we approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Okay, what is your question?
Mr. Marcus, where will this $1.5 million into, what reserve fund does that get placed in, or is it just in general operation fund for the water wastewater department?
That's gonna go into the general operations in the water department.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Item number 20, consider, oh, that's true. Will you ask a question?
You're rolling.
Yeah, I'm trying to. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those to approve, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, it is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 20, consider a one-time employee pay supplement to offset a portion of employee health insurance increase for fiscal year 2011-12 and amend the budget accordingly. City Manager Kenny Smith will address.
I'm going to move that we approve this while we discuss it.
Well, we have a motion to approve while we're discussing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. Now, discussion.
As you know, when we budgeted back in March and April, when we were working on the budget, the volatility of fuel, we really didn't know where to go. So in an abundance of caution, we budgeted $4.25 per gallon for regular fuel and $4.50 per gallon for diesel fuel. We've been averaging about 20 to 25% less than that. So through the first 6 months of this year, we estimate through July 1 through December the 31st to save about $117,700 on our fuel cost. With that in mind, I recommended that we assist employees by giving them a pay supplement. They've had one raise in the last 4 years, and health insurance has continued to increase. So I'm recommending to offset some of that health insurance increase and the fact that they've had minimal raise the last 3 or 4 years to give them that pay supplement. The total with our current employee count would be about $123,858, including our required FICA tax that we have to pay on that. So I'm requesting the $6,148 approximate amount offset to come from the commission contingents.
You know, one little raise in 4 years, plus this year with the increase that they paid in insurance, they actually lost money this year again. So I think this is the right thing to do and help make them partially well for the pay cut they actually took.
Well, and I think that it's a nice thing that Mr. Smith wants to do this, and I would agree. It's something that is a nice Christmas present.
I'll put in real quick. I'm actually, as much as it pains me, I'm going to vote against this. I talked with Mr. Smith about this, but basically I'd like to see savings that are not performance-based go to the benefit of the public, the taxpayer typically. And I know we've talked in the past of several goals that if we had funding for those goals, there are several things where we're limited by funds that we could look at doing with those funds. And I guess my conservative nature as well sees that, we put together a conservative budget and we've got 7 months left. And I know for the last meeting that we had with the tax assessors and whatnot, we've got some big property tax issues coming up for the next year, but that's just my nature, and I think it's a commendable thing. I just wanted to explain why I'm going to be voting against it.
Okay.
Well, I think I agree basically that I'm tight too, but the most valuable asset we have in the city is our employees, and I think we need to protect that asset.
And I'm tight too, and nobody asked for this. It's solely an idea of mine, and as a contract employee, certainly I won't be included in that, so nobody's got anything to gain other than the employee.
Right, I think that, and I'm very conservative in looking out for our taxpayers, but our employees interact probably with our citizens as much as we do, sometimes if not more. And theirs is not an easy job, especially in public, when you have to deal with the public on a daily basis. So if this will make them know that they are appreciated a little bit better, then I don't have a problem with it either. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All righty, that's 6, and those who oppose, and we have 1 to oppose. We love him anyway. Okay, item number 21, consider approval of a resolution accepting the official results of the November 8th, 2011 election for the City of Griffin Commission Districts 2, 4, and at large.
Madam Chair, I move we approve.
All right, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, can we vote? It's unanimous. Thank you. Item number 22, consider approval to amend the agenda to include item number 22, the sale of 3,704 kilowatts of reserve capacity to the City of Barnesville.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Mr. Smith.
Yes, ma'am. I want Mr. Bosch to come up for one more second and talk to you for just a second about something on his plate. And while he's doing that, obviously our offices will be closed Thursday and Friday for Thanksgiving. Just for your calendar, remember Eggs and Issues, sponsored by the Chamber, with our legislative delegation, will be on December the 1st. Before we meet again, that'll be at 7:30. The downtown Christmas lighting will be on Thursday night, December the 1st. So December the 1st will be a long day. And December the 13th will be our only meeting in December, so anything you've got to be on the December agenda, if you'll get that to me for our 13th meeting. And I wanted Mr. Bosch to chat with you for just a minute.
Right, and I have mentioned to,
darkish, 6 o'clock.
Kenny, I mentioned
Sir,
to,
ma'am.
Probate Judge, DeWitt Simonson, if he would come and administer our oaths. If you or Judy would call him just to confirm that, I would be most
December
appreciative.
13th, we'll have
Yes.
swearing in, right?
Right.
Mr. Bosch.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I just wanted to give you a brief update. In recent months, you've probably seen some articles in the paper on a couple areas that we've been having outages, which coincide with some tree trimming that we need to do. The majority of the tree trimming that we do in the city of Griffin are in areas that are low impact, and the public and our ratepayers really are very supportive in those areas. We are getting ready to do a very sensitive area down along College, and that area which is a sensitive area, and It deals with two of our circuits, Circuit 12 and Circuit 14. We have had some outages in those areas, and we have a comprehensive plan with tree trimming, some new equipment that we're going to be putting on these circuits. But what I wanted to inform you of is we're going to be working hand in hand with Craig, our arborist, and our tree crews and our line crews to start trimming out College Street. And I wanted to prepare you for any calls that you might get. We're going to try to be as responsible as possible. Mr. Smith did meet us out there today, and we kind of brainstormed on how we were going to handle the area. We're going to cut responsibly. We're not going to go take it to the sky, but we do need to do some trimming. And I just wanted to prepare you and answer any questions that you might have for that beautiful street and the homes and the trimming that we need to do. I know we're a tree city, but trees and electricity don't mix.
Right.
So we got to find a happy medium along that street.
Chief will lend you some bulletproof vests, I bet.
Yeah, you will hear about the butchering of our trees. That's been something that's been very hard, and yet they do. Have trees been the cause of the recent outages in the Middlebrooks, Honeybee Creek, and all that area?
Some. Those are all on the end of the circuits, and that's the second part of our plan is to install new equipment on those circuits. So when we have events that are at the end of the line, it only goes back to the equipment that we're going to install. It doesn't go all the way back to the substation, so the entire circuit doesn't see it. So it's all part of a comprehensive plan, but just inform you that we are on top of it and we do want to correct it, but we want to do it responsibly, but we also want to let you know you might get some calls.
The blue line that's in our yards now into our water meters, does that mean that we're about to get the automatic meter readers?
That's usually locating. That doesn't have anything to do with the AMR meters, I don't believe, Brent.
Well, we got blue lines all up and down the street.
Well, it just marks where the meters are, so they can.
Usually somebody's going to do some digging and they've called for a locate for a general area. So somebody might be doing some digging in the area.
Don't think so.
Probably just a meter.
Right. Well, the reason I ask is one of the neighbors asked, does that mean that we will soon get them in our area?
That's nothing we're doing. I don't believe it's anything Brandt's team is doing.
Well, they put a blue line on the water meter. Painted a blue line there and then one right at the street, so. I didn't understand you.
That's probably where they're going to run new service lines with meters.
Oh, okay. All right. Right, okay. The reason I asked that was because there are some people out there, I think we said that once we get the automatic meter readers in, that people can set a date to pay their bill.
We are. Of course, we're doing the mass deployment, which is going to take about another 4 to 5 months on the electric.
Okay.
And then, of course, the AMR system with the water. But when we get an area done that's both water and electric, then we'll be able to offer those dates.
No. That's not going to happen until we get our meters in. Yeah, but I need you to understand that.
It's going to be like in 5
I'm
years.
seeing eyeballs light up and everything else. That's it. Mine's going to be right to the point. Till we get designated areas with both electric and water in, you're not going to be able to select your date. That will be a decision on your part if you're going to selectively let some people select their dates or wait till we get them all in too. But anyways.
Any questions on trees?
He caught you off guard, didn't he? Because he could not move you, right?
He doesn't have the weight to deal with me anymore.
We'll be trimming by our standards, and we'll also have our arborist out there with the trimmers. But you're gonna see a difference, and the people that live there are gonna see a difference, and your phone's gonna start ringing. But it's one of those things where
You're right.
Ryan's phone never rings. It's my phone that rings.
And Mr. McLemore, if you wish.
Unfortunately, you can't have it both ways. You're gonna have outages if you don't trim, and people are gonna be upset. While we were out there today looking, some guy rode by and hollered, "Is the power out again?" So.
Hey, it hadn't made my 2 cents. That's pretty good.
Well, as you know, I take that very personal, so that's why I wanted to update you. And I will review our plan with Mr. Smith before we start the chainsaws up.
All right, thank you, Bill. Anything else, Mr. Smith?
No, ma'am, that's it, thank you.
Drew?
I move y'all adjourn.
Yeah, that suits me, I tell you. We're getting giddy, aren't we? Shahir?
Yeah, just right quick, somebody put an article. Somebody put an article.
He's gonna address it.
Oh, you gonna address it?
Yeah.
You know, Mr. Morrow is against it, so.
I don't care.
Okay, Dick, anything you got to say?
No comment.
Okay, Doug?
One of our constituents in Griffin faxed us a copy of this article from Albany. You keep hearing about other jurisdictions passing these ordinances about saggy pants. We've had gentlemen speak to us before, and I'm ready for us to figure out whether it's through Drew or through the General Assembly, figure out a way for us to do an ordinance in the city of Griffin to do away with saggy pants.
Right, and I'm glad to have Doug on board because Drew shot me down when I mentioned it several months ago.
But City Attorney Nathan Davis has said, no big deal, he can take care of it.
Well, actually, one of my classmates helped put that.
Nathan Davis? Or O'Deal? You said
No, it
Davis?
says Nathan Davis,
You
City
said
Attorney.
You said
I'm
Nathan
sorry,
Deal.
Nathan Davis, City Attorney
I was gonna say.
from Albany.
Does he have an inroad there now?
Is he a Georgia grad?
I'm not sure.
Well, if he's a Georgia grad, it's definitely positive, so it's.
Nah, he's too smart for that.
But I'd like for us,
Right.
going to the first of next year, let's.
He has way too much courage to be a Georgia grad. Is that what you're saying, Kenny?
Something like that, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ryan?
I just wish everybody happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Same to everybody. Will?
Yes, I had the opportunity last night, working with City Park, to take a look at, the City of Griffin basketball team coming up. And I know Bill Bosch, he's a big man down low.
He's
a
playing
mixture between Jordan and Larry Bird. So y'all make sure you get a chance, you get there and support him. I think the first game is Bill? Okay.
Oh, gosh, we may have to go see.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why he's here at the city and he could be playing in the NBA. But I really got the game.
Y'all like let your pants sag down, you might offend the opponent, and they might run away and you can win.
They gonna plant you, in other words. You're gonna be in the corner at all times.
If we don't get to see each, every one of you, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Will. Ms. Ward?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Same way here. Brent, I received from Three Rivers this request for review of attached project information, the closing of some of the railroad lines. Did you receive that? May I give it to you?
It was a legal description of the
There you go.
newspaper as well, but
Yeah.
some of that going towards.
That's it. Right, it is. I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving as well. We've got it. And everybody in favor? Say aye.